On the stormy night of August 23, 2014, torrential rain and thunderstorms battered the city of Anlu in Hubei province. Amidst the booming thunder and sheets of white rain, a wealthy and respected local businessman, Fan Daowen, 51 years old, suddenly vanished. He owned assets worth over $1.5 million, was known for his generosity, and lived peacefully with his wife, Li Chunbing, and their children. His car remained parked downstairs, but its owner was nowhere to be found. In the darkened house, Chunbing sat waiting anxiously as each minute passed heavily. The howling wind outside, mixed with the pounding rain, only intensified the chilling sense of foreboding. What had really happened to Fan Daowen? After a sleepless night of tossing and turning, Chunbing repeatedly tried calling her husband, but to no avail. She couldn't reach Daowen. Although she desperately wanted to go out and search immediately, the torrential rain and strong winds forced her to restrain herself. At dawn the next day, Chunbing could wait no longer. She immediately rallied all their relatives and friends to join a large-scale search effort. Unfortunately, there was still no information. Faced with this alarming situation, she decided to go to the police station to officially report the incident. Upon receiving the report, Anlu police immediately deployed their forces. The first urgent task was to determine exactly when Daowen had disappeared. Security cameras near his home recorded his car arriving at 11:35 p.m. on August 23, 2014. However, by 11:45 p.m., when his daughter discovered his absence, he was no longer in the car. The entire incident had occurred within an extremely brief time frame, exactly 10 minutes. What horror had transpired in those fateful moments? The investigation team immediately expanded their search area, meticulously examining every corner around Daowen's residential area. During their information gathering, they contacted 2 neighboring residents, a transportation service operator and an auto wash shop owner. Both provided crucial testimony. Around 11:30 p.m. that night, amid the heavy rain, they suddenly heard strange sounds coming from the entrance to Daowen's home, what seemed like the agonized screams of someone being attacked. Although there were no direct witnesses and the victim's identity remained mysterious, based on the matching time frame, police had grounds to suspect the victim was indeed Daowen. At the scene, the forensic team carefully collected scant clues, a few drops of blood and a single hair. These pieces of evidence were immediately sent to the laboratory for DNA analysis. The results were as expected. The DNA from both the blood sample and the hair matched Daowen's DNA perfectly. This provided irrefutable proof that he had been attacked at this very location. However, another noteworthy finding from the forensic experts was significant. The blood traces showed a dripping pattern, completely different from blood spatter. This indicated the victim had only suffered surface injuries, not severe ones, and likely posed no life-threatening danger. Based on the evidence collected, police formulated a bold hypothesis. Daowen had very likely been kidnapped. But the crucial question remained: why? What was the real motive behind this incident? Everything remained shrouded in mystery. Anlu police began building a psychological profile of the perpetrator, possibly a criminal group consisting of at least 2 individuals in good physical condition, possessing their own means of transportation, and particularly familiar with the geographical layout of the Anlu area. When asked about any conflicts or grudges Daowen might have created, his family appeared confused. Chunbing firmly insisted her husband had always maintained a peaceful attitude and had never been involved in any disputes throughout more than 20 years of business. This information led the investigation into a complete dead end. There was no sign of any potential enemies of Daowen. Facing this impasse, police decided to implement a wait-and-see strategy. A surveillance team was positioned to watch over Chunbing's family, always ready to receive any ransom calls from the kidnappers. Meanwhile, large-scale police forces continued to expand the search area, determined not to overlook even the smallest detail around the crime scene. Time passed. 2 days, then 3 days, but the phone remained silent. This strange silence pushed the entire investigation team to extreme tension. An unsettling feeling gradually crept in. Was this really just a simple kidnapping case? Or had something far more terrible occurred? Could Daowen already be dead? Just then, an unexpected ray of hope appeared. During the process of interviewing potential witnesses, an investigator encountered a man named Liang Jun. He recounted that around 11:40 p.m. on August 23rd, while waiting in front of the 1006 hotel nearby, he had coincidentally spotted 3 figures at the staircase area opposite Daowen's house. One man appeared drunk and lay motionless on the ground, while the other 2 were trying to help him up and take him away. What particularly caught police attention was that one of the 2 helpers was a woman wearing a flowing white dress with long, loose hair. Liang Jun's testimony, with its specific details about time and location, perfectly matched the moment when Daowen was attacked, which reinvigorated the investigation team. To verify the accuracy of this testimony, Anlu police conducted a reenactment experiment at the exact scene during nighttime hours. Under the dim light from nearby advertising signs and car key fobs, they could clearly observe the activities of 3 people from Liang Jun's position, over 130 feet away. Even when a team member simulated bending down, Liang Jun could still easily distinguish the action. The results of this experiment convincingly confirmed that what Liang Jun witnessed was completely real and credible. The trace of the woman in the white dress opened up an entirely new and mysterious line of investigation. Who was her true identity? What was her role in this horrific incident? Police theorized that the unconscious man was very likely Daowen himself, though he wasn't drunk, but had been attacked and lost consciousness. The appearance of a woman in the context of such a brutal assault led police to lean toward a romantic motive theory. Perhaps some emotional conflict had been the cause of this tragedy. From there, they began meticulously investigating Daowen's circle of personal relationships. By examining the detailed call history from the night he disappeared, police discovered 2 noteworthy phone calls. The first call occurred at 9:30 p.m., lasting up to 40 minutes with a woman born in 1976, from the same hometown and currently single. After verification, police eliminated this woman from their suspect list, determining she didn't have enough time to prepare and execute such a complex conspiracy. The second call drew special police attention. It occurred at 11 p.m. with a woman named Li Hong, 29 years old. This conversation lasted over half an hour and ended at exactly 11:38 p.m., just minutes before Daowen was attacked. In her statement, Li Hong reported that Daowen seemed to have consumed considerable alcohol at the time. His speech was unclear, and the call was cut off abruptly. Although Li Hong could prove she wasn't present at the scene and lacked clear motive, police still had to carefully consider every aspect with caution. However, Li Hong was ultimately crossed off the list of suspects. Subsequently, police still couldn't identify any woman with sufficient capability or convincing reason to mastermind such a sophisticated case. Though very intriguing, the clue about the woman in white clothing had to be temporarily filed away, awaiting new evidence that might emerge. As days passed hopelessly without a single ransom call, Chunbing felt a bone-chilling sensation. She began believing her beloved husband was no longer alive, and that his body had been thrown into the Fu River by the criminals to destroy evidence. This terrifying intuition prompted her to continuously send people to search along the riverbank, but all these efforts only brought more exhaustion and despair. Then on August 27, 2014, exactly 4 days after Daowen's disappearance, a horrifying discovery occurred. Around 8 a.m. that day, a local man who enjoyed fishing was shocked when he spotted a large object floating along the Fu River. Initially, he thought it was just an advertising banner from some fashion store that had been swept away, but as he approached, a spine-chilling feeling overwhelmed him when he realized it was actually a human corpse. In extreme panic, he quickly called the police. Anlu police forces arrived at the scene in the shortest time possible. The body was pulled from the murky water, and the revealed scene made even the most experienced officers shudder. The victim's body had begun showing signs of decomposition and swelling, with the waist, shins, and arms all tightly bound with steel wire and 6 weights attached. Immediately, some people at the scene speculated whether this might be Daowen, the wealthy businessman who had been missing for several days. Daowen's family was invited to identify the body. Chunbing and her children immediately recognized the clothing he wore on that fateful night: a Jinba brand dress shirt and matching dress pants. Another crucial piece of evidence found in the victim's pants pocket was a blood test slip clearly bearing Daowen's name. All details converged to confirm an undeniable truth. The body thrown into the Fu River was indeed Daowen. The autopsy report also confirmed that Daowen had not committed suicide, but was the victim of a deliberate murder. From a mysterious disappearance case, the entire incident had officially been reclassified as a serious intentional homicide. The news of Daowen's tragic death struck like lightning, devastating his family's hearts. They couldn't accept this cruel reality. His wife completely collapsed, while the children were immersed in ultimate grief. Local public opinion also erupted, expressing outrage and unrest upon witnessing how an influential and reputable figure like Daowen could be brutally murdered right at his own doorstep, then savagely disposed of. The unsolved case placed enormous pressure on the Anlu police force. At this point, Chunbing recalled a serious business conflict her husband had been involved in. 2 years earlier, Daowen had successfully won the bid for a ceramics factory and became a brick supplier to many manufacturing facilities in the region. To prevent competition and price drops, in early 2014, Daowen had taken the lead in linking 6 ceramic factories in the town to agree on unified pricing for the external market. This move led to fierce opposition from the Lianqiang Brick and Tile Group, the region's leading brick and tile manufacturer. The corporation hired He Fei, a martial artist, with the specific mission of closely monitoring local brick production facilities to prevent them from purchasing raw materials from Daowen. Intense confrontations repeatedly erupted between He Fei and Daowen, even nearly leading to physical altercations. By May 2014, tensions between the two sides had been eased through local government mediation. Despite such disagreements, Chunbing still ruled out the possibility of He Fei being the perpetrator based on 2 convincing reasons. First, He Fei was merely an employee hired by Lianqiang Group, unlikely to risk his life for the company's interest in confronting Daowen. Second, He Fei's father and Daowen had once been sworn brothers, with the 2 families maintaining close relationships for many years. Moreover, Daowen had generously lent He Fei 30,000 yuan, about $4,500, when he had just left the military and wanted to start his own business. Nevertheless, police still considered this a valuable line of investigation and decided to summon He Fei for direct questioning. He Fei claimed that on the night of August 23rd, he had never left the side of Xu Wei, Lianqiang's financial director, serving as his personal driver. Police also summoned Xu Wei, who said he had been drunk that day and confirmed He Fei had always been by his side. Subsequently, police thoroughly examined He Fei's personal vehicle, but found no traces related to the victim. Based on the evidence collected, He Fei was temporarily crossed off the suspect list. During the investigation process, Anlu police utilized modern video surveillance technology. They hypothesized that the perpetrators had used transportation to move Daowen after committing the crime. From the crime scene to the body disposal site, there existed a route that the perpetrator necessarily had to use. Police meticulously reviewed over 9 cars that had passed through this area during the time frame of the crime. Accordingly, a black Audi caught their attention. This car had appeared and circled the crime scene area 4 times on that stormy night, moving at very slow speeds as if searching for something or planning something. The Audi's owner was Wang Qiang, a notable figure in the local underworld who had been involved in some illegal activities. Police suspected this might be an important clue. However, after digging deeper, they discovered this car was primarily used by Wang Qiang's son named Xiao Qiang. Police questioned Xiao Qiang, who explained that he had been driving his girlfriend home that night and her house happened to be located near Daowen's residential area. Due to an argument with his girlfriend, he had been driving around the area to have time to persuade her. Xiao Qiang's testimony was corroborated by his girlfriend. Meanwhile, the forensic team also thoroughly examined Xiao Qiang's Audi, but found no traces related to Daowen. With these findings, the Audi was eliminated from the list of suspicious vehicles. When all 9 suspicious cars were ruled out, police fell into deep doubt. Could their initial assumptions have been wrong? Was it possible there was another vehicle used that they had inadvertently overlooked? With admirable perseverance, Anlu police decided to review all surveillance footage from beginning to end, this time with absolute meticulousness, frame by frame. This review brought a breakthrough discovery. Hidden among the stream of cars, an electric three-wheeler had passed through the camera's view. This vehicle appeared with one distinctly abnormal feature. Its canopy had been strangely and suspiciously removed. Upon conducting more thorough investigation, police realized this vehicle was not only present at the crime scene, but was also recorded on the route leading to the body disposal site. Using reverse tracking through the interconnected surveillance camera system, police finally located the suspicious electric three-wheeler at a motorcycle repair shop in the city center. What particularly convinced them was finding the very canopy that had been removed, which further confirmed their suspicions. Technical personnel secretly examined the three-wheeler and found a small blood stain that appeared to have been wiped clean in a hard-to-see location. DNA test results showed this blood stain belonged to Daowen. This discovery provided irrefutable confirmation. This three-wheeler was indeed the vehicle used in the crime. With the discovery of Daowen's blood traces on the three-wheeler, police had secured a crucial clue. They urgently traced the vehicle's owner and identified him as Xing Tao, a 28-year-old man from Henan province. When police investigated further, they were surprised to discover that Xing Tao was not only from the same hometown, but was also a former classmate of He Fei, who had been under suspicion but was later temporarily removed from the suspect list. More notably, Xing Tao was currently an employee of Lianchang Brick and Tile Group and was living with He Fei. The close relationship between these two men immediately forced police to reconsider all suspicions surrounding He Fei. Police recalled He Fei's initial testimony about staying beside director Xu Wei throughout the night of the murder. However, the surveillance camera system exposed this lie. Video footage showed that on the night of August 23, 2014, He Fei had gone home from 8:30 p.m. and only returned near 3 a.m. the following morning. This time frame completely contradicted the alibi he had presented. When police summoned Xu Wei once more, this time with a completely sober mind, the director definitively confirmed that He Fei was absolutely not present beside him on that fateful night. Thus, He Fei's alibi testimony had completely collapsed. From this point, He Fei and Xing Tao officially became the #1 suspect pair in this murder case. Police also completely ruled out the possibility of any third accomplice. They had reviewed all financial transactions of both men, but found no unusual money flows, proving no one was behind hiring them. After gathering sufficient solid evidence, on September 6th and 7th, 2014, police simultaneously launched operations to arrest He Fei and Xing Tao. When faced with irrefutable evidence, both quickly confessed to all the crimes they had committed. He Fei confessed that the motive leading to his criminal behavior stemmed from business disagreements in the clay field with Daowen. He claimed to have heard rumors that Daowen was spreading intentions to kill him. Impulsiveness and negative thoughts had enraged He Fei, leading him to decide to act first to deter Daowen. He had persuaded his close friend Xing Tao to participate in executing this plan. Notably, both criminals had secretly planned for over a month, with extremely detailed and clever preparation to cover up their crimes. From acquiring the three-wheeler, buying women's wigs, long dresses, steel wire, and weights for body disposal, they had also scouted Daowen's residential area multiple times to calculate timing and methods for executing the crime. On the fateful night of August 23, 2014, He Fei discovered Daowen was drinking with friends and knew he would return home late and intoxicated. Seizing this opportunity, he and Xing Tao immediately drove the electric three-wheeler toward the residential complex where Daowen lived. To mislead people and create confusion in the subsequent investigation, Xing Tao disguised himself as a woman by wearing a flowing white dress and a wig, while He Fei also put on a light-colored robe. When Daowen arrived home, Xing Tao had already hidden in the stairwell corridor. The moment Daowen stepped in, he launched a surprise attack. Due to consuming considerable alcohol, Daowen's reactions were sluggish. During the struggle, he was attacked by Xing Tao, causing him to hit his head hard against the wall and faint on the spot. He Fei and Xing Tao then cooperated to carry Daowen onto the three-wheeler. On the way, Hefei acted cruelly by strangling Daowen until he stopped breathing. After murdering Daowen, when the vehicle reached Fu River Bridge number 2, both stopped the vehicle. They used steel wire to tie 6 weights to Daowen's body and threw it into the river to perfectly destroy the evidence. When Hefei was brought to the scene to reenact his criminal behavior, he had to face Daowen's family directly. The sight of the murderer standing at the very place where he had taken the life of their most beloved family member plunged Daowen's entire family into ultimate grief and uncontrollable rage. They almost attacked Hefei, if not for the timely intervention of police forces. Chunbing screamed in despair, calling this a total catastrophe that had befallen her family. Although Hefei showed remorse and apologized to the victim's family, those words seemed to have no meaning anymore. He would have to pay with his freedom, enduring severe punishment from the law for the brutal acts he had committed. The downfall journey of Hefei and Xingtao was a tragedy of greed and blindness. Daowen, who had once been a benefactor helping Hefei during difficult times, became the victim under his cold hands. Hefei's paranoia and impulsiveness, based merely on baseless rumors, had turned him into a cruel murderer. The sophisticated plan and thorough preparation from disguises to disposal methods all showed that Hefei's behavior was intentional murder, not a momentary impulse or accidental killing as he tried to justify. Xingtao, Hefei's friend, had voluntarily become an accomplice, drawn into the vortex of guilt that Hefei created. Regarding Hefei's case, factors such as meticulously planning for over a month, preparing murder weapons, disguising to conceal identity, and especially the act of strangling the victim to death, were all ironclad evidence proving he had direct intent to kill. After the trial, both murderers were sentenced to death. After being arrested, Hefei showed remorse and apologized to the victim's family. He also expressed concern about his own family's future, what would happen to his wife, children, and parents. However, all regret came too late. He would have to pay with his freedom, enduring the cruel punishment of the law for the brutal acts he had committed. For Daowen's family, the departure of the family pillar left a huge void and deep pain. Chunbing and her children had to bear immeasurable loss, a tragedy beyond imagination. This incident not only took away a husband and father, but also carved deep spiritual wounds in their hearts that would never heal. And that concludes today's case. Thank you for following along, and see you in the next videos.